Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you.
Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers in the mayor's race for Reno. Devon Reese is a Reno City Councilman, and he's running here for the whole show on an all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
Pro Group Management specializes in providing industries with the necessary components to satisfy and exceed workers' comp requirements. Every business has unique needs and specific regulations. Pro Group Management stays ahead of the curve, providing up-to-date services to keep your industry in top form. Discover how we simplify your tasks, improve efficiency, and reduce expense to keep you moving in a positive direction. Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you.
The trucking industry is the most resilient link in the supply chain. And for over 90 years, the Nevada Trucking Association has been the voice for the men and women in the trucking industry. From Carson City to Washington, D.C., we advocate for policies to protect our trucking companies and keep commerce flowing. Because Nevada's and America's prosperity is tied to trucks. There's nothing without trucking.
Hit the road in style during the $150,000 Roads to Riches giveaways at Tamarack Casino. Win up to $5,000 every week and a top prize of a 2026 Chevy Traverse or $40,000 in cash. It's the $150,000 Roads to Riches giveaways at Tamarack Casino.
Save money and take transit. Did you know you can ride the bus all day for less than what it would cost you for a gallon of gas? Plan your trip now by going to rtcwashoe.com.
As you know, Reno is booming. Toll's development company is helping it grow with insightful design and development, building community with every project, adding beauty, adding excitement, emphasizing our shared humanity. Reno is becoming bigger. Toll's development is helping it become better, more livable, more enjoyable. To learn more, go to tollsdevelopment.com. tollsdevelopment.com.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with host Sam Shad on No Holds Barred Political Forum. Now, from the Nevada Newsmakers broadcast headquarters, here is Sam Shad.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we're pleased to welcome back to the program after an absence, Devon Reese, and that's our fault, by the way. He's a Reno City Councilman running for mayor. Pleasure to have you back on the program.
Well, thanks a lot. Always a privilege to be here.
Well, thank you. Let's start out with a couple of, one big announcement and one previous big announcement. GSR with their arena planning on investing $1 billion over the next 8 years. You've got the J Resort, used to be the Sands Regency, that is looking to invest $1 billion in downtown Reno. They own 200 acres downtown, which is an astonishing number. If people could conceive what that is, if you took the Grand Sierra Resort, that's 150 acres, so it's 33% bigger than that.
Yeah.
Your thoughts?
Well, my thought is that Reno is a place that people want to be. And so when you have people who are interested in investing their dollars in Reno, I think that's a good thing. There's a lot of exciting things just on the edge of the horizon. I think the next 10 years are going to be really transformational to Reno. It's not just those two properties. Of course, there was an announcement earlier in the week by a soccer group wanting to build a soccer stadium on the site of the former Corwin and Jones West Ford sites. So people know Reno. They know we've got something special here, and they want to be able to be here and invest here. So just a lot going on in both of those projects. And the third one that I mentioned, I think, give me a lot of hope about our ability to grow reasonably, responsibly as we move forward in the next 10, 15 years.
Yeah, that announcement by Wendy Namonte and her group, not just having a soccer stadium, but also an entertainment district attached to that. And knowing, for example, the Hispanic community's involvement with soccer, which is huge. You can see them playing in the parks all around Reno. I think that if they can tap into that, that will be massive. And then just around the corner is the Atlantis and the Peppermill that could both benefit if they decide to put in programs to go along with that. Yeah, I agree with you. I think that, there's a lot going on for Reno. I think that for those of us that are pro-growth and looking at this is what a lot of us have dreamed of.
Yeah, I think, everybody has their own vision for what Reno was and what it can become, right? And sometimes the difficulty comes in trying to marry those two realities. I think some people are trapped in believing that Reno is a small provincial place. I was born and raised here, so for me, I grew up here at a time when Reno was about 70,000 people. We're now hurtling headlong towards about 300 plus thousand and 500,000 regionally. So it's this balance between what people believe it once was and that form of nostalgia, and other folks who are saying, hey, we're coming here, we're new to the area, or we're rediscovering it and seeing the growth. And there's some inherent tension in that, but I think people by and large, well, I think.
I mean, it's huge.
You
look, for example, I'm sorry, I'm jumping in, and you're welcome to come back. So if we don't get it all out in this conversation, that's fine. We're seeing a battle, for example, right now with Lake Ridge, which for those watching in Southern Nevada, that's kind of like a Summerlin light area of Reno. Years ago, when they were trying to build the ring road around Reno, equivalent to the 215, but on a smaller scale, people in West Reno in that Lake Ridge area did not want that road to go through. Luckily, the powers that be at the time forced it through. Where would Reno be today if that road didn't exist? I mean, you have to go. There's got to be change at some point. You can't have the same thing for 50 years forever.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing constant is change, right? And so what we try to do as city council members, and what certainly my vision for the mayorship, if I should be so honored to be the mayor, is to really think about not only the people who are here, but the people who will be here in the future. I think a lot about my own children who want to live in this community, but right now can't afford to. And you think about growth in that way. Certainly people use slogans like responsible growth or slow growth, but those are just slogans, right? You actually have to put it into practice. And I think about the McCarran Loop as a good example. I used to ride my bike on the 395 freeway when it was being built. I think about people who've been here a long time know the place that we occupy in both history, space, and time. But they're also thinking about what will it be when I'm not in the seat that I'm in. I think about the train trench, right? A lot of people had objections to it, and I can't imagine the community without having that below ground, right? So you've been here as long as I have. You know that there is something here that's special, that is not replicable other places. But you also have to just think, what will it be like when I'm gone? And we want it to be a place that's happy and safe and good for people to be here. So there's inherent tension, but I also think that people are sometimes more focused on what divides us than what unifies us. I'm someone who believes that there's a lot of things that we can agree on, and where we don't agree, we can principally disagree and still leave as friends.
When was the last time you heard somebody complain about the train trench being lowered?
Oh, it's the debt to it, right?
Well, the debt, yes, but even that, do you still hear a lot about that?
Yes, oddly enough. I mean, you think about the way our city finances are set up and the encumbrances that debt has played. I don't hear people saying, oh, we should have trains above ground, but they might be saying, hey, we could have been investing in different things. And then you look at the way our budget is set up today and you think, hey, there's a lot of debt service. And I've been proud to have paid down the debt in my time in office by about $250 million. I would have rather had that money to put into parks or the police, but we're responsible with it, and I'm thankful for it. As a kid, I would sit in traffic with my parents, and I would always look at the trains. I thought they were fascinating, but I just really cannot imagine downtown in any other way than what I see it today, even though I once shopped at JCPenney's, for example. It's gone now. I remember it, but it's kind of like a form of nostalgia.
I remember Steve Trounday put together a series of photographs from what Reno looked like in the 50s and 60s in downtown, and the angled parking, etc. And the thing that struck me, although the photos were cool, was if that's what it looked like today, Reno would be one dead town.
You are very right about that. I think, again, if you think about it and only imagine Reno as the 1950s and its heyday with casinos everywhere.
I think it's in its heyday now. I think that, between the tech boom, between the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, with these investments now, billion-dollar investments in Reno, people wanting to build more rooms when a lot of casino owners have been very conservative about adding additional rooms. I think that, this is the best time.
Well, our best days are ahead of us for sure. And I have to believe that fundamentally. I think what happens is, again, people think of downtown Reno, but they're forgetting that the reason why downtown Reno changed and why it is different today than it was in the 1950s or in the 1980s is because, Native American gaming cannibalized some of what people came here for. And then as other town centers around town happened, Double Diamond, the Summit Mall, Spanish Springs, people don't have to come into downtown specifically to go to JCPenney's or to have a meal. They can go to a beautiful meal somewhere else in town. So we have to have a different vision for downtown. And I, like you, think our best days are ahead of us. Now, I will say one of the most important and exciting next periods of our city's history is going to be 4th Street. The 4th Street corridor is popping. It's jamming. I was at an event last night where Star Sound, celebrating their 50th anniversary, announced their relocation into the area. And
so they're coming out of Sparks to 4th Street.
Yeah.
And this is Star Sound Audio that I used to rent equipment from when I was a DJ back in the day.
Yeah,
yes.
I mean, people who have this kind of equipment and setup, they know Star Sound. Not everyone does, but you do. And they are going to partner with the Morris Berner Hotel and create a Star Sound music hall. I mean, this is the kind of thing that is driving long-term investment, and people who have the entrepreneurial spirit or the vision to see it, they're ahead of the curve, right? You don't get to come to a place after it's 10 years into its redevelopment and stake your claim to it. It's those people that are doing it now, and it's exciting.
Well, and this has been 40 years of trying to get 4th Street away from being homeless services, and being it started with the breweries, and they were really exciting, but there was still a lot of issues. But things appear to be on the upswing there. One of the problems that, as mayor and even as a city councilman, you're going to face is the money coming in. It's just not there. Whether it's a couple of years from now or 5 or 6 years from now, Reno, along with Washoe County and Sparks, are facing some big financial issues. How do you plan on dealing with those?
Yeah, I mean, I think the first thing is to acknowledge that the issue exists, right? So we know, and you know, but maybe your listeners and people watching don't know, that there's a structural imbalance between what we take in revenue and what we have in escalating costs. That's because property tax doesn't depreciate, and the ways that we generate revenue as a city are always on the decline. So if you don't have a sustained period of growth, probably about 8% year over year, you can't keep up with your basic services. But what we do know is that people want those services, right? They want to have a good police department, fire department that calls when they come in, and the parks and recreation services. So what we have to do is be smart about what we're spending our money on. We have to be thoughtful about how we partner with Washoe County and Sparks to maybe take on services like our fire department could be consolidated, that kind of thing.
Okay, now is there any ongoing behind the scenes conversation about consolidation? Because it's been a while since that topic came up, but it really makes a lot of sense to a lot of people, although in the past, Sparks really wasn't interested in doing that at all. Is there an appetite for that now because of the financial situation?
I think there's an appetite, and I won't say it's primarily driven by the finances. What I will say is each of the local governments, Reno, Washoe County, and Sparks, they've got great people in those governments. We're working well together. There's a lot of collective and shared vision. And yeah, we also know there's some collective and shared pain going on. But the elected officials on each of those bodies are all talking, right? We're working together. We have so many boards that we sit on regionally where we must be one region. But I think there's just a special opportunity. And those conversations are happening. They're not behind the scenes. They're right out in public. Last time in their legislature, Senator Daley brought a bill to really analyze and study it. Those committees, their work is now ongoing and started. I think it's a high likelihood that we figure out some way forward on the on the fire service side to look at reconsolidation. And so I think it's a positive thing. Even if we don't get a full one entity, we may have a lot more other things arise out of that context, like mutual aid and auto aid, and the opportunity to maybe understand that the first response to those emergencies are going to come from the closest area, that kind of thing.
Which is nuts that isn't the case now.
It's largely the case. There are some areas where it becomes complicated by the ways in which our systems communicate with each other. That's also something that during my time in office we've tried to fix. After the first of the year, let's aim for February, we should all be communicating the same way so that when you dial 911, it's going into one place and it's being communicated to all the regional partners the same way. That's been a huge fix. And that's like step one in how you look at whether consolidation is going to happen. You first have to communicate with each other the right way on the same systems. So that's a huge lift. I think we'll get there. I really do. I think as a region, we know that there's not a lot that divides us between being, a Renoite and a Sparks resident, right? People don't even often know where they are when they're driving around town. So it doesn't really make much sense that you've got 3 different fire services trying to do the same kind of work. And Sparks, I think, they'll be along for the ride too. I think they recognize the value of it.
Okay, but you don't think police consolidation is on the table?
It's a little harder to conceptualize, in part because Washoe County, of course, their primary function is to run a jail, right? There are no other regional partners that have that. I'm not saying it's impossible, but I think there are just some historical things that lend not as easily to being consolidated. The type of police work is different. The areas that people patrol are different. All good people that I've had the privilege of representing in my private life.
But you look at Metro in Las Vegas. That's been incredibly successful.
Incredibly successful, but you still have North Las Vegas Metro, you have Boulder, you got Henderson, a lot of different police agencies down there, right? Metro is a real specific thing, and I think they are a good proven model, and of course something we should be looking at.
All right, let's take a break. We'll come back more with Devon Reese. He's a Reno City Councilman running for mayor after this time out.
No tricks, just treats at the Carson Valley Inn during the $100,000 Monster Pirate Treasure giveaways. Thousands in cash and free play giveaways every week. A monstrous $25,000 in guaranteed grand prize giveaways. Don't ghost these giveaways. Halloween awaits at the Carson Valley Inn.
The Nevada Builders Alliance has been protecting the interests of the construction industry for over 50 years. Our programs save members thousands of dollars every year and allow them to provide much-needed benefits to their employees. Our industry also allows Nevada to grow. If you're thinking about a career in the construction industry, reach out. And if you haven't thought of a career in construction, what are you waiting for? We are the Nevada Builders Alliance.
Welcome to Story County, where history meets innovation, and a pioneering spirit continues to shape our future. At the heart of the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, we power the future with global leaders in technology and manufacturing, driving progress that reaches far beyond our county lines. From advanced manufacturing to tech innovation, our industries are creating thousands of quality careers, fueling a vibrant economy that benefits every Nevadan. But it's more than just growth. Our community is our foundation, supporting families, empowering local initiatives, and creating a place where everyone belongs. Be part of a legacy built on bold ideas and boundless possibilities. Join us in building a brighter future right here in Story County. Story County, helping build Nevada's future.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we continue our conversation with Devon Reese. He's a Reno City Councilman running for mayor. We get mail, so when people knew that you were going to be on the show, we got a few questions. The city's recent survey shows public perception of downtown Reno is very low. Aside from listing recently completed projects, which hasn't moved the needle that much on public perception, what are your plans to improve downtown Reno, particularly during the winter season?
Well, first of all, I appreciate people's thoughts on it because we want to hear from people, and their perception is important as we develop policies. The city of Reno has spent the last 3 years really looking at what we want to be as a downtown and then going out and doing it. We hired Gale Studios to do a placemaking study. That placemaking study was the roadmap for what we do. And so what have we done? You look at the Locomotion Plaza, the former train trench that's now covered over. We've activated it with something like 80 events this year. And if you spend any time downtown Reno, you see it. There's all of the shipping containers, different kind of bar setups, permanent studio or like installation of furniture, that sort of thing. There's also West Street Plaza, where we've had some incredible events. And then if you look at the model, the Western Lights Festival that happened last year was wildly successful. Something like 300,000 visitors came down for that in the wintertime, right? So we have night markets, we have a Christmas market that we've been doing. There's a lot of activation going on town. And I think what people find is they haven't been downtown in a while, right? Because they can stay at DeMonte Ranch or in Spanish Springs and have great meals out there. But when they make it downtown, they're like, oh, I didn't know all this was happening downtown. So you really have to engage people by getting them downtown. The other part of that equation is you got to have people living downtown. So in the next 5 to 7 years, we anticipate 7,000 new residents downtown. Well, those residents want to have a place to grocery shop. So a grocery store is coming.
So where would those homes be built?
Well, you think about where the ballpark apartments are. You think about the former Harris site, which has gone through a couple of different name iterations.
Right.
But those will be residents there. There's more housing applications every day. The University of Nevada, Reno has decided to build 400 graduate student housing apartments on 6th and University Way. A lot of people moving into downtown Reno. And as we urbanize and as we drive people to the core and they live there, that means you see new storefronts, new coffee shops. The Reno Restore program is another good example. We're doing facade renovations of all the businesses along Virginia Street. You see new planters, new colorscapes. Look, we know that people had some ill feelings or perception about downtown. I just don't think it's accurate. And if you come downtown, walk with me, I'll show you a great time.
One of the things that comes up constantly on this program and in private discussions is Caesar's 3 properties, the Row, in downtown Reno, and how a lot of folks would like to see some action on the exteriors, perhaps even a walking area on Virginia Street. Have you had discussions with Caesars about that, and do they have an interest? They're investing $24 million in upgrading rooms right now at El Dorado.
Yeah, we're so fortunate that the Carano family is a local family, right? That they have made their lives and their home here, and they continue to do so, even though Caesars is the largest gaming institutional entity in the world, right?
56 properties.
Yeah, it's incredible. But they are making critical investments downtown, and they are making efforts to energize the street, right? When you start to think about the way that those properties developed, a different time period, right? People really drove people inside, and now we know we want people outside. So you think about the opening up of those casino first floors to the outside, and you look at the Harris project, which is going to have some incredible openings for that. But I do think the Caranos know, and in their heart of hearts believe, that Reno is their home, that they've made strategic investments in it, and they will continue to do so. I also think it's incumbent upon us to think about the ways in which the bowling stadium, the event center, the ballroom, all properties that the city and the people own, have to activate some of that space. So it's largely about activation, street level activation, but also about the reinvestment that comes with, again, people living downtown. And we're seeing it every day. I just really think people, if they would go downtown, spend some time there, they'll see the positive changes that are happening, and then they can go tell their friends.
Okay, let's take another break. We'll be right back.
A power line is more than a power line. It's maintaining the bottom line for small businesses. It's keeping the assembly line moving for our workforce. For our brightest minds, it's meeting a deadline. It's on the front line with our heroes. And on the sidelines of the biggest games. It's a direct line to our loved ones. And it's a lifeline for the most vulnerable. There's a lot on the line.
Like a traditional handmade basket, retail is woven into the fabric of life in Nevada. From big box to mom and pop, retail supports our communities in countless ways. Jobs for the disabled, team uniforms for kids, help for the elderly, and so much more. Retail employs over 1 in 10 workers. Retail supports Nevada, and we support retail.
RANNV.org.
You're in trouble with the law. It's easy to think you'll lose everything, but there is hope. I'm attorney Orrin Johnson. Your first step is to hire a serious attorney with the experience to successfully navigate the legal system for you.
Sometimes hope means addiction treatment instead of jail, and making sure you're treated fairly.
Sometimes hope means fearless trial attorneys will stand up to the government when they get it wrong. Call or text Orrin Johnson Law.
We'll make a plan.
You'll take back your life.
Meet Nevada Health Link, Nevada's official health insurance marketplace. Your link to savings, selection, free assistance, and name brand health insurance, where 90% of enrollees lower the cost of their monthly premium. Everyone deserves access to quality health coverage, no matter your income or family size. Visit NevadaHealthLink.com. A few minutes could save you hundreds of dollars per month.
Nevada Health Link. Our plans are made for your plans.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
In our last minute here with Devon Reese, the Reno City Councilman running for mayor, you brought up the former Harris property, Reno Revival, I believe it's called now.
Yeah.
That looks like it's a real game changer for the whole downtown area. But another property that I went into recently that I really didn't know was there was the Birdies property by the post office downtown. This is a huge entertainment facility. I'd never heard of it. I went inside during the week and asked the young lady behind the counter, you know, how are they doing? She said, great, very busy on the weekends. I said, how are you advertising? Instagram. And I slap on the head there.
Yeah. Well, look, first of all, the Birdies property is incredibly successful. It's also one of the buildings that got some restore grants to do that facade restoration on the outside. Huge property inside, and really what a good path for what Reno can be. You go in there and it's pretty busy most of the time that I've been in there. Big property, a lot of money went into that, right? And you just think about it as another example of people investing in this community organically and then watching it grow. And sometimes you're on the front end of that, right? And you ride the wave as it goes forward. I think smart investors are getting in now and know that there's a positive future for downtown Reno. That's a great example.
Are there two buildings, the Woolworths building and the other one on, I guess, Sierra Street.
With the JCPenney's building, where Liberty is.
Are they both just overpriced at this point?
No.
Real quick answer.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think that they'll find a space for a sale, right? I think people want to be downtown and they'll find a buyer.
I have a funny feeling we'll be seeing a lot more of you on this program. Thank you, sir.
I hope so. Thanks a lot.
And we'll be right back.
Welcome to the Ahern Boutique Hotel, where luxury and warmth come together in the heart of Las Vegas.
We take pride in offering a one-of-a-kind experience for both locals and tourists.
Join us for handcrafted cocktails and an unforgettable experience.
Joel's Chop House, the perfect place to savor views of the Las Vegas Strip.
Satisfy your cravings at the Ahern Chocolate Shop.
No smoking, no resort fees, and the parking is always free. The Ahern Luxury Boutique Hotel is your home away from home.
Imagine a magical garden that feeds Carson City's hungry and homeless, teaches our high school students agriculture, creates hanging floral displays to beautify downtown, and yet charges nothing. It's not magic. It's the Greenhouse Project. It's real, it's growing, and it needs your help. Go online to carsоncitygreenhouse.org so together we can grow it forward.
You can always watch Nevada Newsmakers 24 hours a day at NevadaNewsmakers.com. Thanks for watching and listening.